All right. You got what? Kennesaw? Yeah. Let's go.
What's up, dude bros? How we doing? Good evening.
We
Excellent,
out
sir.
here.
Boy, what a week. It's been something, man. All the holidays and stuff will suck it right out of you, but here we are.
Very true.
It is championship week. Big week. This is the week we've been waiting for. Got 9 big games we want to talk about. This is Sports Ball Talk. These are your dude bros. Got GB at the bottom, dude in the middle, your guy Brian here. Probably just going to roll right into these picks, man. We've got some good games, some games that probably aren't shaking out so well. There's a giant spread on one of them that just had me scratching my head. But the first game tonight is Kennesaw going into Jack State. Why don't you start us off with that one there, dude?
Well, for me, I know they got the spread here is a very tight one with Kennesaw State out there, but I'm Gamecocks all the way. I absolutely am a fan of these Cocks. Caden Krill, the QB there, he's got over 1,200 yards. I know that's not too impressive for some of us SEC homers and whatnot, but he's a solid dude out there. They've already played Kennesaw State earlier. They beat them 35-26. Last year they beat them as well. This rivalry, I believe they played 5 or 6 times, but I know the last 2, Jacksonville State has come up and won. I think they're going to continue that rolling forward. I don't see any reason for the spread to be the way it is.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the point, too, that they've played previously. A lot of our championship matchups are games that we've already seen this season. And is that going to be indicative on how the rest of these are going to go? I think some of them might have some different outcomes. But for this one, yeah, I'm Gamecocks all the way, and I got them going over. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, I'm 100% with you guys in line with that. I'm kind of, I won't say we're local, but we're close enough to them that I see their football program commercials all the time on local TV. And they obviously pumped some money into that place over the last decade, and it shows they've been winning a lot. But I'm with you guys 100%. I think Jack State's got this, and I think it's going to be an over game too. So, yeah, I don't see it any other way. I like the coach Kelly over there. He's cool. He does a good job. And he looks really good on TV for those promos. So they're doing all right. So I don't see any way Kennesaw comes in here and takes it from them.
Indubitably.
Yeah. I think you guys might have some skin in the next one we're talking about here. I don't know if you're familiar with this school, Southern Alabama, Troy, school from a little bit closer from where I'm at, JMU. They're, dude, GB. Actually, you know what? GB, start out with this one. I want to hear what you got to say first.
Well, yes, I am a Troy Trojan, so TR whoop whoop. Am I right? But I think the real big discussion here is, it's James Madison. Look at the 22.5 points that we've got here. Obviously, we're thinking good things for James Madison. There's big things on the line based on some other games that we'll talk about here too, specifically with Duke and Virginia. I do want to talk about JMU head coach Bob Chesney just for a minute, though. He just got hired by UCLA, but unlike Lane Kiffin going to LSU, he has stated he is going to stay on with the Dukes if they continue this season through the playoffs. If you might remember, Chesney actually replaced Indiana's head coach Kurt Cignetti here for the Dukes back in 2024. They've had an amazing season. I know he's going to do great things at UCLA. It's a program we've talked about a good bit. So I think that they really need to score every bit of those 22.5 points, and I think they will because they need to absolutely solidify themselves that they deserve a spot in the playoff. What about you, Brian? Do you think they deserve to be in there?
I think the past couple of years we've seen teams like Liberty slip in, and it has not been a happy, fun time for them. And I think that's got a lot to do with how the committee is going to pick who gets where. I think no matter what, Notre Dame is probably going to be the number 1 seed in the playoff just because, hey, let's slide it up. Let's shake some things around. And, we'll give them a first-round bye so they can, I just
they're not
but
playing.
No, I don't think JMU covers that spread. I just maybe I got a little love for Troy for a reason or another, but I would just like to think that they would keep the game closer than that. I do think they lose, and I don't think it's going to be a close game at any point. But I think, 3 touchdowns in the hook, I don't. That's too much. So I maybe see them in it like a 14-point, 17-point game, something like that. And you got to look at when they're playing too. I mean, it's prime time for as far as these games are played. Both these teams are going to be ready, and they both obviously don't want to go out with a loss. So I think the Trojans lose, but I think JMU doesn't quite do all the stuff that Vegas seems to think they're about to do. You know what I mean?
Well, I think JMU. I'm right in line with GB there. Unfortunately, I would like to be rooting for the Trojans in this one, but that's just not going to shake out. No. And I will actually be really putting out them good vibes for the Dukes to not only cover, but cover handedly. I think they absolutely do need to. At this point in time, they're not in the playoffs. That's already been said. They absolutely still can make it. A lot of stuff has to happen. And one of the things is they absolutely have to show out this week. Now, Jay, these Dukes, I've been looking at them for a little over a month now. They're one of those, those 5 teams that we put out there. I think they deserve it more than any others, and I think they have absolutely been overlooked. I don't think there's any reason for us to be considering a North Texas or Tulane if we are not throwing the Dukes in. I think we're getting better games, absolutely, if James Madison is out there instead of some of these other teams. I mean, just look at their conference play. Look at the quarterback, AB3, talking about what I just was saying on the other team there. He doubled those passing yards in the season. We got 2,400 yards coming from him with a 71 QBR rating. They've got a kid there, Wayne Knight. I believe he's over 1,000 yards rushing this season. I mean, they've got a very solid program. Mm-hmm. And I think we were going to get a much better game out of them than any of the others 5 teams. So not going to beat the horse. Said my piece. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, you guys were just talking about UNT and Tulane.
The AAC right here.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really good game. I think both of these teams are very good. I mean, you got 11-1 going against 10-2. Neither one of them have been drugged this season. I mean, I think this is going to be one of your good ones. It's prime time. The quarterback for UNT, Drew, he's got over 3,000 yards this season. He is pumping that thing down the field. And I really think that Tulane is going to win the game. I just don't know what to do with the rest of it. This is just my don't bet it, anything, forget it kind of game, because either one of these teams, if both of them show up, this is going to be an absolute shootout, and that spread is probably justified because it might be coming down to a field goal last minute or first overtime or something crazy like that. So I like both programs. I don't want to bet on either one of them, but I do think Tulane sneaks this one out in an under game. So what are you thinking, dude?
Well, I would like to play the Navy fiddle here and say that they've got the same record as everybody else, and they should be in this game. But unfortunately, they've already played North Texas, and North Texas absolutely beat them. I think if North Texas would have played Tulane, maybe we'd see a different outcome here. It is what it is. Now, the two teams that I want them both to lose. I want them both to lose, and I want the Dukes to go forward. That's what needs to happen here. I don't know if I'm confident really in the spread on this one. I don't know if I'm confident in North Texas actually taking it. I think that on paper, North Texas is a better team than Tulane. And I think in a neutral field, more often than not, if you're flipping the coin, it's going to go on the side of North Texas. That being said, this is the game that I am not betting on out of all of the conference championship games. This is the one that I say absolutely forget.
And just to your point, dude, talking about how the Dukes really need to get that spot over these two teams, FanDuel posted up some potential matchups just to see what the spreads would be if some of these teams went up against teams like, let's say, Oregon. Tulane in that matchup, Oregon was favored by 24.5. If it was North Texas versus Oregon, 19.5. But if it was JMU, it was down to 18.5. So
see,
it seems like that's possibly the best matchup that we could have got out of it. Now, for this game, something we need to keep in mind here is how focused are these coaches, because both of them are gone. They've already taken other jobs. You've got North Texas head coach Eric Morris is going to Oklahoma State. Tulane's head coach, which Auburn was trying real hard to get there for a little bit and drop the ball at the last second, is now going. Mr. John Summerall's going to Florida. But I will say, I'm excited about Auburn's coach. We'll talk about that later.
Ugh.
But I think I'm going to take that Ruski. I think that
that's Hugh Freeze light. They would have been much better off with Summerall.
I think you got a whole different flavor coming into the mix, and we're going to see that the next few years. I'll eat crow if in 3 years we're about to drop him too and pay another X amount of $1 million. But we'll get into Golich later. Now, as far as the Mean Green, I think they are going to absolutely cover. And I'm going to lean towards the over in this game because those boys like to put up some points, and Tulane can get some points as well. What does that lead us into next, Mr. Brian?
Well, I actually there was a big hubbub with this UNLV last year with the quarterback, played a couple games, dipped out. They still had a hell of a season. And Boise State's just been winning, for the past few years. They've just dominated. I think the rubber meets the road here for Boise State. I think UNLV comes in here and steals this one. I think they win. I think they cover the other spread the other way. I think they win by probably a touchdown, and I've got it in an over game. I think this is going to be another good one for some fireworks. If I had to bet, I would absolutely bet on the upset for this game, and I would absolutely take the over because there are going to be a lot of points scored here. What are you thinking, GB?
I'm going to go the exact opposite because you might say the Broncos haven't played well these past couple of weeks. That's because they haven't had their starting quarterback, James Madison, playing. If you look back, their matchup with the Broncos and UNLV, previously he was driving the ship and they won 56-31. The only reason that UNLV got those 31 points were a couple of muffed punts and some turnovers that really went in their favor. But even still, they got beat by 3 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, I'm going to have to take the Broncos. I like Dan Mullen. I like the QB at UNLV. I think he's pretty entertaining, especially watching some of his highlights. But
Polandrea.
I'm definitely taking the Broncos to cover here, and I'm going to go over as well. What about you, dude?
See, this is a game that I think the Broncos take it. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there first and foremost. But this is another one that I don't necessarily agree with the matchup. In the Mountain West, you got Boise State, New Mexico, San Diego State, and then you have UNLV in the rankings. They all are 6-2 in conference, and New Mexico beat UNLV in the regular season. Now, why is this Las Vegas school getting boosted up there? Could it be because a certain cartel gave them a bunch of money, and then the AD's like, oh, we didn't know it was cartel money, and then it was a big story for 3 days, and then it got squashed? I'm just putting that out there as something to consider. Once again, New Mexico did beat them, and they beat them by more than 2 touchdowns, and they're not getting a chance to play. So I feel bad for New Mexico. I think this should be a Boise State at New Mexico game, and I think that would be a much more entertaining game than what we're going to get here. I think the Broncos absolutely are going to cover. I'm hit or miss on it being over-under. I think it is going to be right around 58 points. So I would not bet the over-under, but I would say Boise State covers this.
Well, I'll be happy when I see them running up on Boise State. That's all I'm saying. Now, the next game, there's going to be some running up on this one, I think. And go ahead and lead me off with that one, dude, because this is going to be a good one.
So I have mixed feelings on this. My heart of hearts says Texas Tech. They deserve it. They're going to win it. I have been pretty anti-BYU all season. I think the Red Raiders, in the end, win this. They also clinch that first-round bye. They get that extra week of prep time. We get an even better game in the second round of playoffs from them. Who knows how far they're going? The Red Raiders have had a hot season and only lost the one game. That game was to who? Arizona State. They lost by 4 points. 2 injuries during the game. 3 questionable calls. Who knows? Who knows what we get ended out here? But what I secretly want is I want BYU to win. Because what happens if BYU's it? Yeah, what happens?
No Notre Dame.
No Notre Dame. We get probably Miami jumping in there with BYU. That would be cool. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think we need to stick with reality here, not with what we want. And that is going to be Texas Tech wins. The question is only, are they going to put up 2 touchdowns on BYU? Right. And the answer is yes, they are.
Yeah, I'm right in line with that, absolutely. The big question mark on everybody's minds is why did BYU not get the absolute guarantee of making the playoffs? Their only loss this season was to Texas Tech. They deserve to be in that spot. Everybody wanted to argue why is Notre Dame above them? Why is Notre Dame in and Miami's out? I mean, that's the biggest arguments this whole week, specifically for those 3 teams.
Points.
Right. So I, too, do as well, and I called it earlier when I think we saw what the matchups were going to be. This game's been played. We know how it's going to turn out. I don't think that there's going to be any wow factor that's going to suddenly get the Cougars to come in and pull out the upset. I would love for it to happen. I would love for that to happen and then for Duke to win. I think that would be what the catalyst that gets Miami in and gets Notre Dame out. That's a lot of factors at play here. I just don't know if all those things are going to happen. But I like the Red Raiders. I think they absolutely deserve to get that bye week, and I want to see what they do that second round of the playoffs. What about you, Brian? You calling the upset, or are you jumping on the Red Rainer train?
No, and I've been kind of dumping on BYU all season too, even though I do like their coach. I'm not a big fan of the program in general, and that's for neither here nor there. I won't talk about that now. That's probably for a different podcast, but Texas Tech, like you guys have both touched on, is they deserve it. They deserve a real chance to make a run in the playoff. I think they are going to absolutely win this game handily, although I do not think they're going to cover the 13.5 points. I think, and the only reason I think that is because you're going to get into garbage time and BYU is going to score another touchdown that's going to bring it into 10 points or whatever it is. So I think that's why. But the entirety of the game, I think you see Texas Tech in hand, playing from ahead, not having to chase anything, and that's where these guys live, because if they're ahead, it's a different kind of team. They can open up the entire playbook, and it's a good one. So I'm with you guys mostly, but I don't see the cover there. But I do see it in an over game just for all the reasons I just said. And I would really like to see Texas Tech in there and get the bye and see what they can do. Rested, ready for the playoff, ready to make a run, because that's really what you want to see, right? Is the team's full, your starting quarterback, your starting running back, all your offensive line's healthy, nobody's dinged up, everybody's had the freaking koozie down. Those are when you get the good games and you really see which teams are better. And this is a time of year for that. And I'm actually really excited about this one because I want to see Texas Tech just show out and prove that they deserve to be where they're at. So I'm absolutely with that.
As you're queuing up the next game, I just want to touch on the comments you made about healthy players. The big difference coming in from the previous BYU and Texas Tech matchup is BYU's coming in with a healthier offense, specifically their star running back. Mm-hmm. Is that going to be enough of a factor to keep them from covering? I think that's the question. I didn't mention this earlier, but I'm not betting on either of these because I definitely could see the Cougars coming out with enough fire to try and keep them from covering those 2 touchdowns. But besides that, I'm ready to talk about some RedHawks and Broncos.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of skin in this game. I've only seen a little bit from the MAC all year, really. They're not really a conference that I can keep my eye on. There's only so many games you can watch, From the little bit I saw, it's just these teams seem like they're the same thing. It's like they copy and paste, but they're different, wearing different uniforms. I think that's why the spread is so close. I think that's why the over-under is so low. They only got 43.5 points in the game, and they got WMU by 2.5. So I think the Broncos do cover that 3 points. I think they win by probably 7 or 10, just because I haven't seen anything special out of Miami. And the highlights I've looked at it, a little bit of reading up I did. So I'm not seeing a whole lot in this game. I don't mean to dump on the MAC, but just not one of the ones I'm super excited about going to see, even though it probably will end up being a really good game. What are you thinking, GB?
Well, I mean, it's another one of these rematch games that we talked about previously in the season. The big difference this go around is we are at Western Michigan, whereas we were at Miami previously. And I think that's going to be the deciding factor. But at the end of the day, it's my forget it game, because I think it really is a coin toss of which way that's going to go. What about you, dude?
This is another game that I disagree with how it shook out into who got to go into the championship game. We have Ohio, Toledo, and then another Miami, Ohio team that all have 6-2 conference records. And somehow we have the RedHawks in there. Now, didn't the RedHawks lose to Ohio? Didn't the RedHawks lose to Toledo? Why are neither of these teams going to play Western Michigan? And I think
more cartel money.
Well, no, it's too cold for them up there. No, this is one that truly does baffle me, and I really have tried to search and see how they could justify how things shook out, where it just doesn't make any sense. The more I looked at it, the more I think that the other MAC Ohio team is the one that deserves to be there. Not the other, but the other one. That would be Ohio, not Toledo. Not anyway.
All right. Well, transitioning from that into something you absolutely have skin in the game for, Brian. Who we got up next?
Well, hold on. Let me say one more thing about the MAC championship. Out of all of the championship games, the lowest ticket prices are for the MAC, and those tickets are as low as $22.
Championship matchup.
Right. Which, I mean,
that's
the
hot dog's going to cost them more.
Yeah, I mean, you get a bit of beer is about $20 nowadays. I think in a stadium. That's
well, you check out the ticket prices on this SEC championship game there.
The lowest one.
I don't think I'll ever get to see one in person unless I'm invited. You know, I just that's high dollar, man. I mean, we've had some big ones. I think Oregon had a couple games that were over 400 there for a little while, and there was a couple little spots here. But being right at $250 a ticket for an SEC championship game, that seems kind of low to me, honestly. I've seen way higher ticket prices in the past, especially with the guys around me at work. They're always looking to see if maybe there's a pair of seats that aren't too terrible up in, but they're always terrible. So, but I do got a pretty big, thick piece of skin in this game. I'm a Bammer. If you don't know out there, world, I do love my Crimson Tide. I was really, really high on Ty Simpson for about 65% of this year. And then he just kind of plateaued out for me, man. I was on the Theismann train. I kept waiting. Give me that Heisman game. Give me that Heisman game. It's almost LSU still just the same. Okay. So I'm not saying that he's not a really good quarterback. I'm just saying he made some really massive steps every game. 6 games in from that Florida State loss, and just coming along the way he did. And then just kind of boop, just like Ryan Williams. And I don't know if they're just trying to stay fresh or what the deal is, because they know they got a couple more games they need to win to actually win a natty. But I will never bet against the Tide. I've got Alabama winning this game, and I do have it in an over game just because I think Ty Simpson is going to have to score some points, because Gunnar Stockton has, in the past few weeks, been more consistent than Ty Simpson. So, like I said, I will never bet against them, even if the line was 102. I'm still roll Tide. My penny in the bucket. I will always have a little faith there. But I think these two teams are very close. We already beat them at home between the hedges. And, there was obviously a little bit of wonky stuff here and there. But it's going to be a very good game. and I'm very excited to watch it. What are you thinking, dude?
This is another one. We got 4 SEC teams, all ranked 7-1. Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, TAMU. Texas A&M, I think, might be the hot ticket. That's kind of the sleeper team. People are not given the recognition they need to right now. Ole Miss, I think they're going to lose a lot of momentum with Kiffin being out of the way there. I just don't know if Alabama, Georgia is the SEC championship game that we need right now. I mean, it's been, 10 out of the last 11 SEC championship games? I think people are tired of seeing this, I'm just saying.
I think that's why the tickets are lower. I think you're absolutely right.
I'm looking at it from the perspective of let's make the sport great again. Let's get people engaged in college football. Let's make sure they know the SEC is the best place, and their place sucks because it's not the SEC. Now, Georgia last week, Stockton didn't look too hot. I mean, he looked more mechanical, less fluid than I like seeing him. I just don't know. I don't know. My gut instinct is telling me that I'm going with the spread. Georgia wins out. Georgia covers the spread. That's what needs to happen for everything to run along smoothly. That being said, I want Alabama to win more for the CFP mix-up that's going to happen and to ensure that a certain team that does not deserve to be there doesn't get there. And you know who you are, Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think that's the real question of this. I think what's best for the college football playoff is for Alabama to win, to then them take Georgia's spot. They will rest up and get the bye week, and they will be in the second round of the playoffs. Georgia will still absolutely be in there, and we're keeping the SEC numbers up. If Alabama loses, which they are very capable of doing so after their laughable performance against Auburn this past week. Not saying Auburn played any better, but that's come to be expected from a team that was coming in with the record that they had. So
1-7 in the conference.
I think that the real question is, can Kirby break the mental spell he has that Nick Saban has cast over him that just seems to prevent him from beating the Crimson Tide? Maybe, is it 1-7 times? Is that where we're at? Or 1-8 times now?
Yeah.
So I think it'll come down to that. Ultimately, if I had to put money on it, I'd put it on the Crimson Tide because I don't really want them to win as an Auburn fan. But for the college football playoff, that is what needs to happen.
So I want to put something in there with that. If you're matching up the teams here, obviously the running game, a little bit of the edge is going to Georgia. Going with the receiving game, a little bit of the edge goes to Alabama. If you're going to the quarterback game, it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, Stockton's got a better QBR. Simpson's got more yardage overall, and he's a little bit more hot right now. That being said, we need to look at the opposite side of the ball there. We need to look at that receiving coverage. And I think it is really going to come down to a certain Zachariah Branch. If he can break out and get a few good targets on him and make some ground, that's it. Georgia's won the game right there.
I think you're bringing
Alabama
up a good
can shut
point.
him down. No.
Because in the Auburn game last week, we saw Alabama pretty much shut down Auburn's offense entirely until Auburn receivers started having yards after the catch. And Zachariah Branch for Georgia is one of the best who can do that, period. So if Stockton's able to connect with them, I think you're absolutely right. There'll be some gashes opened up, and Georgia will be able to start pulling a little bit away.
Yeah, I'll say Georgia's defense, when they tackle somebody, there is always somebody right behind them coming to finish that tackle just in case. And Bama's not quite as disciplined. They don't crowd that. They don't want to attack the ball, as Coach Saban would say. You want to see 3-4 people still chasing him down. If he's not down, we need to put him down. And Georgia's very good at that. But that's got a lot to do with Kirby. He's a very good defensive coach, and that's something he drills in basics. You know, if you can't do the basic stuff good, you're not going to do anything well. I don't care how talented you are. You're going to get beat just on merit and somebody studied more than you. So I hear what you guys are saying. But Roll Tide, man. Roll Tide always. I can't even begin to think that would come out of my mouth that Bama's not going to win. So I think that's where I'm going to leave that one. The next game, though. Oh, you got something to say?
Oh, no, I was going to do a quick tangent into the recruiting thing, which I want to make a complaint, first of all, with the college football gods. You can't put signing day and me trying to focus on a few thousand high schoolers getting their lives changed, figuring out where they're going, at the same time when I should be entirely focused on a few games where I can get really granular on them. So shame on you. But that being said, I obviously am a bit obsessive and compulsive about some things, so I try to juggle as much of that as I can. One of the very, very good pickups that I saw happen was a certain Ogboko. That's Akeem Ogboko. He is a hefty boy, 6'6", 270. He is absolutely going to be a premier offensive tackle. You will absolutely see him go all the way to the NFL, barring some unfortunate incident. But I was very concerned that he was going to end up in Notre Dame. He visited Notre Dame, Clemson, Florida, and Georgia. He officially signed with Georgia, and I think that the Dogs are absolutely going to benefit from that. So remember that name, Ogboko. You're going to be seeing a lot of that later. But off my soapbox.
I hope he just transferred to Alabama. That's a headline I want to see.
No, he signed with Georgia.
I've been hyping up these Hoosiers since week 0. I loved what they did last year. Signetti, just a phenomenal coach. Mendoza has given me those Heisman moments this year. I think he has absolutely deserved to be in that top 4, top 5 talks of Heisman's. Yeah, I think he's very deserving of it. He is top 2, top 3 without question quarterbacks in the conference, in the league. It doesn't matter. If he keeps healthy and keeps doing what he's doing, he will absolutely be playing on Sundays. And on the other side of the ball, you got Sayin. He's right there too. He has been so very crisp, and just seeing his decision-making skills all the time, no matter what the circumstance, whether they're up by 21 or trailing by 3, the guy is just a cool cucumber. He never gets flustered. You don't see him get sweaty, man. You just don't. He keeps his head about him, and God, he's just got a hell of an arm on him. He's got a cannon. He can put that ball right where he needs to. It almost reminds me of the way Troy Aikman used to throw that bang 8 to Mike Irvin coming across on the slant. He just puts that ball where it needs to be, and he can fit it in windows this big. And Mendoza does the same thing, and he's got just as much of an arm. So I think this is the game of the week. I think this is going to be 1 and 2, a real 1 and 2, going head-to-head, smash-mouth football. And this is going to be an absolute shootout. I've got this in an over game. I don't think there's any question that this is going over 48.5 points with the talent on both of these offenses. And if there was any question marks, if there was a crease, it would have to be in both defenses, even though both defenses have been very good. If I had to give an edge, I'm giving the edge of defense to Ohio State, though. Those boys, I've seen them put some offensive lines on roller skates and just ruined lanes. So both teams very disciplined. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm taking Indiana to win this game. I think that spread is probably fair just because Ohio State hasn't really shown any cracks this year. They've been one. There's a reason they're number 1. Their little fumbles have been when they were up by 21. So it didn't really matter. I'd love to hear what you guys got to say, but I think Indiana wins this one in an over game. What about you, dude?
I think that a lot of your points are pretty accurate there. I think Sayin is a cool cucumber, as you said, but I also think you need to take into consideration that he's got Jeremiah Smith there, who in my mind is the number 3 Heisman candidate out there still. I think that's another dude absolutely going all the way to the NFL, absolutely going to be somebody that you see there. This game is going to be the game. You called that, and I believe the majority of college football fans agree with that. The tickets for this one, the lowest one that you can get, is going to be $539, and that is way up there in Section Z. So Lucas Oil Stadium is going to be packed. It's going to be cold in Indy, and nobody is going to care because that stadium is absolutely going to be jumping. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the defenses are going to put up. We obviously know both teams have incredible offenses. I think that the defensive edge is actually going to go more to Indiana than to Ohio State. That might be a bit of a controversial take, but if you look at the matchups where they've played similar teams, for instance, Purdue, they put up a whole 10 points on Ohio State. They only squeaked out 3 on the Hoosiers. There's a couple of these kind of things that you need to look at. I know that the dogs right now are the Hoosiers, but they're not big dogs. It's a very close game as the spread goes. And maybe it's my heart, maybe it's me trying to manifest something more than going off the paper. But I think the Hoosiers absolutely do take it. I am looking forward to the performances from both teams, though. I'm normally a pretty anti-Ohio State person, as I think that they have gotten a lot of buffs in the polls and whatnot before, when it's not necessarily similar to Notre Dame this season, where it's not really deserved. But this year, they absolutely, I think, your number 1 and 2 team is Indiana, Ohio State, and I don't think anybody can really have a fight if they're trying to say otherwise. And I know you might try to put one of your teams up there, but no, Indiana and Ohio State. This is the game. And this might even be the game before the game, if you know what I mean. Crazy how things will shake out.
I'm glad you said that, because I feel like I'm not going to touch on anything new besides the Mendoza-Sayin, Cignetti versus Day. I mean, this is the absolute matchup that we've been dreaming of and are excited to see play out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go with the Ohio State Buckeyes for this game.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
But when they play again and everything's on the line, the Hoosiers will take the gold. Remember this for now. So Ohio State will take this one when ultimately it doesn't matter who wins and loses this game. Both of these teams will get byes. Both of these teams will advance forward, period, because they are number 1 and number 2.
Right.
The real game, that's the one I'm excited to see after. This is the warm-up.
Well, there's only one left on my ticket. And, I just – looking into the Cavs this year, to be fair, I called the Wake Forest upset. Their roster, the Cavs have the oldest roster in college football. They have the team that's been together the longest, the team that's been at UAV the longest. The starting quarterback, I believe, is on his 6th year. They have showed out. They showed their cheeks in the armor, and I think there was some stories to be had, and you can think what you want to about that, and some flags here and some stuff there. But UVA cleaned it up, and I think they're going to keep cleaning it up. Everybody wants the Blue Devils to come in here and knock off the Cavs so that there's no ACC teams in the playoff. And, if that happens, that happens. But I think the Cavs win. I think the Cavs cover that 3.5-point spread. And I do think it's going to be an under game. They've got 57.5 points on this one. I don't think there's going to be that many points. I think you are going to see some good defenses and just not as much good offense as you might think. What about you, GB?
As you said, this game has the most implications going forward. All eyes are on these Blue Devils and what they're going to be able to do against Virginia. The real question is, if the Blue Devils win, is the ACC out, period? Or do they let Miami come in? A lot of people will argue you can't just make this the Big Ten and the SEC and some other teams that sprinkle in there. You have to keep these Power 5 programs in there, and you can't exclude somebody like the ACC at the end. I personally would like to see Miami in here. I would like for them, obviously much more than Notre Dame, to shake things up, because I feel like they have the most – I think they have the most potential to do so. So in my heart of hearts, I will be cheering for those Blue Devils on Saturday just to see what's going to happen as the dominoes fall. But on paper, it seems like it should be Virginia. What about you, dude?
Yeah. I think more than any other game this entire season, you will have the most people that are not fans rooting for a team. I think,
right. Yeah.
I think at least 80% of college football fans will be rooting for Duke, a team that they've probably never rooted for in football before, ever. But once again, another really funky championship game here coming out. The conference has SMU, Miami, Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech, Duke, all 6-2 within the conference. And I don't know. I don't know if Duke is the right one there. My heart still says that, Pitt, Miami, Georgia Tech, those are all three. But I would put SMU in the Duke category. I think they're the third tier. But I think we'd get a better game out of Pitt for sure, out of Georgia Tech for sure. And Miami, as much as I don't like Carson Beck, I think that well, I'm not going to say that. I can't say that. I will say I will be rooting for Duke. I think that Virginia absolutely, as you said, on paper, they are the obvious winners in this. But sometimes what's obvious is that this is all rigged. And Duke wins out in the end.
And I think that's a good point to make. It seems like more and more people are opening their eyes to see that none of these things matter. It's already been decided. We know who's going to the college football playoff. And that's not just me. You've got ESPN analysts all coming with the same story and just realizing, like, hey, it's an entertainment show. I mean, we're in a program for eyeballs and for money. It's not about who is the best team physically and who can go out perform the best. It's not that. And I hate that it's not. And fortunately for us, we're going to get some entertaining matchups. Regardless.
We're going to get at least three very, very good matchups. I will say that regardless. I'm glad that you said what you said and how you said it, because Diego Pavia made an appeal to President Trump to put an executive order in to expand the college football playoff system this season, an emergency executive order to. And
he's got him on speed dial.
Well, right. That's the thing. That is such a laughable. It's a humorous thing to say, but this is 2025, and you're like, well, so maybe so. Highly doubtful. I mean, Pavia, he's still getting his media attention. He's going to the Heisman show, and he's got another year of eligibility if he wants to keep doing that too. So we'll see what happens with that. Vandy, a team, Texas, a team that would be in there. Obviously, if we expand it out to a bigger playoff system, and then I guess Notre Dame still stays in there, but that solves a few problems. But at the end of the day, everybody knows the four teams that matter, and the four teams that are realistically the teams that have a shot at winning all of it, and that's going to be Texas Tech, Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia,
Alabama.
I said what I said.
Yep. Bring us home there, Brian.
Well, we're getting to the end of our segment here. It's been a hell of a season. I'm really looking forward to the football coming up. I think we're only going to have a couple more pregame shows, a couple more pick shows with the playoff stuff. So looking forward to that. I appreciate you guys being here always. We do our pregame 7:20 Central Time Saturday morning. We like to get in there and talk about stuff before it actually happens. Maybe sprinkle some stats in you haven't heard. Maybe put a little push on a team we think might do something. But I appreciate everybody coming in here. This has been Sports Ball Talk. We're your dude bros, and we love seeing you guys. Thank you for joining. See you next time.
Yes,
See you
sir.
soon.